Who doesn't love Canadians?
Yo, what can we expect from this web series?
Seriously? Are you just going to interrupt me this whole time?
Boo! This is just a record of everything Benjamin Cook's
Oh,
done.
come on! The only things me and Benjamin Cook have in common is that we have both got red hair and we both sound incredibly British. Shut up! Right. Where are you? Where are you?
You call that an opening episode?
Seriously, where are you coming from?
You're still just a Ben Cook wannabe. You'll never make anything like it.
Okay, that's really starting to piss me off, that is.
People don't even care about YouTube musicians.
Yeah, well I do! Hi, and welcome back to We're Not Just Cats, the web series where we're trying to find out whether or not there is such thing as a YouTube musician. And it looks something a little like this.
Thanks so much for a beautiful night. So hey, hope you get back alright. In fact, it's pretty dark, it's pretty chilly out there tonight.
Didn't even look, think I locked in a cage, wrote a novel, 'cause everybody likes to read a novel. It started with a word, and it started pretty well, about a rare fragile bud that I couldn't even spell on the table.
So in the last episode we left off the discussion of why musicians post music up online and why they use YouTube as a platform. But in this episode we're going to get a little bit more serious because I want to find out if the creative process of an actual YouTube musician is anything different from a conventional musician.
There's other things you have to think about. Again, I think you're getting YouTube musician, as I defined earlier. No, I don't think no. However, if you're talking about a YouTube musician in terms of someone who's part of the YouTube community, yes, because the YouTube community is a load of bullshit. But am I allowed to swear?
That's fine, yep.
It's a load of bollocks where everyone pretends they get on, and really everyone's just trying to get something out of everyone else. I'm not a cynical person, but I've seen this in action, so I know what it's like. And as a result of that, if you're going to work within that community, you're targeting your videos and your music to a certain audience which buy into that community, typically young girls between the age of 13 and 18. So yeah, there's an element, and if you want to get involved with that kind of stuff, then yeah, you have to tailor your content towards it a little bit. You know, and that could be how you do your hair or whatever, like the references, the popular culture references you put in, whether it be mentioning Doctor Who or things like that. Yeah, they're the kind of things you would do to tailor to that audience. Is that a good idea? Who knows? For some people it works, some other people you just get told you're selling out or you're not being true to yourself, so I don't know. But as a musician, as someone who was here before YouTube, if I write a song, I see YouTube, for me, once I've written a song, I play it on acoustic guitar and I'll turn the camera on, there's no editing, there's no auto-tune, whatever the microphone picks up, in a one take, the first time I get a take from start to finish, that's the one that goes up. Like, that's how I saw YouTube when it started, as a case of here's my idea, have a listen. And that's what I want feedback on that basic idea, that original idea that I had. Now that's how I use it, and lots of people will tell me that's wrong because everyone else out there is dubbing to pre-recorded vocals that are all tuned and blah blah blah. I would never tune on an album, let alone for a YouTube video, and I find them boring videos very tedious. A lot of people don't know the difference between what I do and those kind of videos, so the general public is fickle. But for me, it's a case of this is my expression, this is how I want to use it, and then I'll also put up a proper music video with a full recorded track, which isn't a performance video. It's a piece of art or video, it's some kind of short film or something like that, or something a bit more clever. Often I have nothing to do with it because I'm not that way inclined, but I'll ask people who like making videos, do you want to do something with me, and I'll do that kind of thing. So that's for me, that's how I use YouTube. Whether people have a specific way of they want to do it, there's hundreds of ways. There's no real rules, are there?
Can be. Not that I wouldn't say the writing of songs is more different, like the writing of the music is more different for YouTube musicians than normal musicians, because it's writing music. Kind of, I feel like it would just be this very similar things. I think the video element of it would be more different, because for one, YouTube musicians tend to have to do it themselves, and some make really creative videos of like lens flares and stuff, and others just like like me, just film and just stick it up online. Whereas actual musicians, they have to they all seem to have loads of people helping them, or like groups of people helping to make a big thing. With a high budget, YouTube musicians don't always tend to have high budgets. It's just like something you can film in your back garden kind of thing. So I feel like for an individual YouTube musician, it's more creative because you get to do all the things. All the things. Whereas a normal musician, you don't kind of get the freedom that you have with YouTube. You get with YouTube.
I'd say so once you get into it. So like the first few things that I did on YouTube were cover videos. And then I found that when I was learning songs on guitar, or like learning the words to songs, I was thinking more about how I looked when I was singing as well, which is something that I've always been quite self-conscious about. I used to have really crooked teeth at the front, and then I got braces and stuff. Never particularly like my nose. There's lots of things about my face that I don't particularly like, and I tend to speak and sing quite fast as well. And so I've always been very conscious of the way my mouth moves, and being on YouTube made that a lot worse. So everything I learned, I would change the way I was learning it to make it look pretty. So it impacts you in different ways, not in like the creative process necessarily, because I still write songs because I want to write them, and I'm like, oh, that's affected me, I'm going to write a song about it, or I think of a little phrase and I'm like, oh, I could work that into a song somewhere. But it's more the way I go about then performing it as opposed to the creative process itself.
No. One word. In some senses, yes, I guess, because kind of following on from the personal connection, I think you know your audience a lot better, as opposed to someone like, I used him as an example earlier, but I think Justin Bieber, I don't think he would know his fans as well as, say, someone like Tom Law. I mean, he's probably met a fair few of them at gatherings and that sort of thing, where so he'll sort of know the kind of stuff that they like and who they are. But I think Justin Bieber or someone, I don't think they have that same kind of personal connection. So I think when writing a song, I think he can sort of write more for them. Not that like he's just doing that, but I think he can kind of write songs that would probably appeal to them more, or kind of have a sort of more personal connection.
I think we're both, but I think everyone's creative in different ways. I think people use YouTube in different ways depending on what they want from it. No, I don't think that it's different, to be honest. I think everyone just wants a platform to sort of sell yourself in a way, and they do that any way they can, and it's
I guess it is different in some ways, yeah.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's not one time that I think of a song to record and that I don't think about the video that's gonna go along with it, because I'm always trying to find new stuff, new ideas for my music, but I'm also trying to find new visual aspects that I can bring into the videos. So you gotta work into what people will like, what they will see, and what they will hear, because what sucks about YouTube is that everything is pretty much visual, so you have to have something interesting for them to look at, and then you know the music has to be good as well, so you gotta work with two stuff instead of just music.
So yes, I would definitely say that there is a creative difference between a musician on YouTube and a conventional musician. Mainly because when a YouTube musician comes up with their song idea, they normally have a video concept in mind as well. So what about these conventional musicians who find their international fame from viral videos such as MacLeod and Psy? Are they as much as musicians on YouTube as Blurry and Tom Law?
I wouldn't consider them YouTube musicians because they've had even with Psy and Justin Bieber, there's quite a big difference between the two. Psy's fame has mostly been as a viral sensation. Justin Bieber, his fame, he got pretty famous on YouTube and then got signed to a record label. As far as I'm aware, I'm not really too confident on knowing the details of Justin Bieber's rise to fame, but that's still quite a big difference. They're quite different to a YouTube musician. They're quite different to what I consider a YouTube musician. YouTube musicians are people whose audience mostly stay online. They're not people who they're okay. YouTube musicians are I'd consider a YouTube musician to be someone whose fan base is largely on YouTube, and in that respect they are kind of famous. But a YouTube musician isn't someone who's necessarily known widely in media. So you've got Psy and Justin Bieber, and most of the world know who they are. Because they're successful outside of YouTube, which is why I wouldn't say they were a YouTube musician. They're kind of bigger than YouTube, but YouTube musicians remain within YouTube, and that's where their fame lies.
In my opinion, they cross over. So yes, they started on YouTube, but as I said earlier, the moment you start touring, or the moment you start doing anything else that's outside of that bubble of just in YouTube, you then cross over to a huge entertainment industry. You know, Justin Bieber hardly ever posts on YouTube, as far as I'm aware, hardly ever posts on YouTube anymore. So is he a YouTube musician anymore? No. Did he start that way? Yeah, he did. That's where he originally started putting his stuff up, and that's where he got noticed, apparently. So that's good, and it's worked for him. I think people who stay just within YouTube are only going to go so far. They're never going to burst through to public subconscious yet, because you need to be everywhere. You can't, you look at the big superstars these days. If that's what we're talking about, becoming a famous superstar, they can't just exist in one place. They do have to tour all over the place. They do have every social network covered, and YouTube is part of that. So yes, they're on there still, but whether they're using it, and to an extent, the real big superstars stop putting quite so much stuff on YouTube. They start using the smaller content-based stuff like Instagram and Vine. I don't know why that is, but it has been a trend for them to start doing that. I don't know whether a lot of these, once you become a certain level of stardom, feel that they don't need to be sharing their everyday stuff as much as someone like me, who would actually quite happily to talk about day-to-day life on YouTube, Twitter or Instagram. Whereas theirs is all more marketing based, and they've got massive teams of people behind them doing it. How many of them are actually in control of all that stuff? But yeah, in answer to your question, no. Once you get out of that bubble, in my opinion, I mean, it's not it counts for much, but in my opinion, you're not a YouTube musician once you're out into the sphere. There's too much other stuff going on to be defined as a YouTube musician. Musician discovered through YouTube, or performer discovered via YouTube, yes, but
I wouldn't say so, because I know that Justin Bieber was discovered, but he only like had a few videos, and he was just like doing covers or whatever, I think, and he was discovered via YouTube. It just kind of happened, but he doesn't still upload to YouTube, and even though they have videos on there and stuff, they're not in the community, because I think YouTube is a huge community-based thing, and they're not really involved in that at all. So I wouldn't say they were.
Personally, I wouldn't, because there's not that. Well, yeah, they started on YouTube and stuff like that, but I think one of the things about YouTube musicians is that they're very accessible to the people at home, in that they'll do Q&As and they'll do other content. Lots of people on YouTube start out as just doing vlogs and stuff and end up giving their music to people as well, which I think is what A.K.A. did. I'm not particularly familiar with, I'm not like a massive fan of his, but from what I've heard about all the stuff that he's done, he sort of started out with the vlog side of it and then went, oh, by the way, I do this, threw some music at people and then they like it. And so you get to know them as a person first, and also the difference between a YouTube musician and people like Justin Bieber is that you think, like, if I were to talk about Justin Bieber, everyone knows I mean Justin Bieber, he's a celebrity, he's a famous singer, blah 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 blah. But I find myself talking about people like Dan and Phil, and people like, who are Dan and Phil? Are they friends of yours? And I realise that I've been talking about them as if I know them, which I think is one of the big differences about YouTube musicians. You can relate to them more, they're real people, they're not idols on like stages far away, and they're real people, if you get what I mean.
I think YouTubers work the same way for them, but I doubt that they went into it with the same ideas, or like the same sort of mindset as like Kamall or someone. Because I'm assuming he probably went into it thinking, I'll put some music on here, other people have done it, maybe people will like it. Whereas someone like Psy, like he was probably making music anyway. He's got albums before and stuff, just not like in the wider world. So I think it worked the same way for him, but I don't think he expected it to, or sort of meant for it to. Whereas Kamall or someone, I'm not saying that like he only did it to get popular, but I think it sort of they kind of had the same effects.
It's like the Psy and Justin Bieber were instant hits. Were like, so they put out a song and then suddenly it just became massive, like the What Does the Fox Say? And the Gangnam Style and everything. We just did that. Yep. Carry on. They were instant hits, like A.K.A. and other people. I know. I'm just saying everyone. Any other YouTube. There's quite a lot. You've done it, I think. No, you haven't.
One song.
Yep. It didn't go that well, did it? So like all of them built up slowly. No offence. I can say that because we're mates. It's fine. Sit down.
I quit.
It's alright. So like they built up slowly, and it hasn't. Instant hits.
Yeah, I do think so, because they all started off somewhere. They weren't famous straight away. I remember seeing Justin Bieber playing music actually before he was famous on YouTube, and I thought it was actually quite good, but I probably wouldn't say the same now.
That's interesting, but I don't think, I guess I would say that the moment you go out there and you don't post on YouTube regularly anymore, you're not as much as a YouTuber, you're not a YouTube musician at all, because you're on the bigger screen or you're doing more important stuff. I guess it's on the long run how you still interact with people and you still create content for these people, and I guess when you get outside of that, you just go to another level and it's something else.
So with YouTube celebrity culture these days, it's harder to find what was a YouTube success story and what was just a viral hit video. People like Zoella with her new beauty range, and Dan and Phil with their new hit BBC Radio 1 show. Things are getting blurred. I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. People like Blurry have just signed his first record deal with Geoma Media, and he's just toured with the Saturdays. YouTube is at the forefront of a brand new media revolution. It's giving people with the smallest bit of creativity the chance to create things for millions.
Whoa, don't get all deep on us now.
Really? Like, seriously? You're just going to interrupt me now, and you haven't even done it at all this episode.
What can I say? I have a talent.
I was just about to make a serious point. Can I just, like, wrap it up?
You may.
Thank you. Without people like you, people like me and the others on the project wouldn't be able to make this. There wouldn't be an album on Bandcamp, there wouldn't be an album on iTunes, there wouldn't be an album on Spotify, and this right now would not be happening, especially with you guys who helped us on Kickstarter.
Oh my god, I can't believe you just made that serious point to promote your album.
Really? Really? It's alright. Where are you? I'm going to find you, and oh my god.
I've got the colors returning to my eyes.